Welcome to Talking Heads on USA Global TV, starring the one and only wonderful Dr. JACALYN. It's a prestigious place where world-class influencers and experts meet, and where you'll find the most trusted advisors and coaches for all things in life and business. Visit usaglobaltv.com to sign up for our newsletter, get the value you need, and be first in line to learn about events and giveaways and other valuable content. Connect with us. Email Dr. JACALYN at usaglobaltv.com to talk about how you can become part of USA Global TV. That's USA Global TV, where the doctor is always in.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to USA Global TV and Radio. I'm Dr. JACALYN KERBECK, and our show today is fashion, travel, and fitness. And joining me is my co-host and friend. She is constantly putting more content out there, helping people all across the world. She's the queen of networking. Let us welcome DIANN FLOYD. Hello, DIANN. We're welcoming you.
I know. I was waiting. Come on. Hi, how are you? I thought it was funny not to be on screen when I talk. It's great to be here. Another wonderful week we're going to have.
Yes, and as our guest, the wonderful Sandy Adams reminded me, this is show number 50 for this particular show. How about that?
Wow. Thank you, Sandy, for letting us know. I haven't been counting. That's amazing.
It is amazing. It's, I think, 1,500 shows plus overall, and this one is at number 50. So thank you for taking this journey with me. As you know, and as our audience knows, you are a co-host on other shows that we have here and some that are coming up. So that's really exciting.
It's very exciting, and it's an honor to be with you. I feel very blessed. Thank you, Dr. JACALYN, for this opportunity.
Thank you, DIANN. I appreciate it. And for people who are dying to know, what's DIANN doing when she's not on USA Global TV and Radio? Would you please share that with them? And then we'll bring out our guest.
I am always going because that's who I am. If I ever slow down, I'm like, oh my gosh, what's wrong? And then my husband's like, oh my gosh. Anyways, it's more info than you wanted to know. But Dr. JACALYN, so what did I do this weekend? I graduated in 1972 from LaPorte High School, and we had our 50th reunion. And the people who put it together, it wasn't just one night of fun. It was 2 nights and 3 activities of fun-filled moments with everyone I graduated with.
Yay, that's really exciting, DIANN. I haven't gone to any of my reunions. So was it that what we see in the movies or on a TV show where it's like, oh, look at her, look at him, she's changed, she hasn't changed, people you were friends with and then people who you didn't get along with, but now you get along with? Tell us the gossip about it.
The gossip about it. You know, I only went to like my 10th reunion, and then we were out of the country for all the others. I felt this one was really important because it was a huge one. 50 years, right? I can't believe it. And I just thought it was really important, whether it was my 10-year reunion or this particular one. I would say each time I am so grateful I went. I'm really grateful I went this year because, or this time I should say, because you know, everyone gels. You're comfortable in your skin. You know who you are. You've been doing, living life. You've been successful. At least everyone I met from all different walks of life, and even the most popular people spoke to you. And popularity didn't matter anymore. They were just grateful you were here. And how lovely is that? And one gentleman, he put together, who was extremely popular. All the girls went in to date him. And we just, I just looked at him because he was way out of my league. He was so popular. But he put together a memorial for everyone who'd been called home to heaven. And he didn't want them to be left out. And so he made a page and studied who they were, what they did, and little synopsis of their life. And even if they left and moved away their, sophomore, junior year, he said they were still part of our class, and he included them. And then he even went then and printed and made a booklet for every single table, which was a lot of tables. And so everyone had a moment to just talk about the person. If we didn't know them, somebody knew them at the table. And so they were really with us in spirit. And I thought that was fantastic.
That's really beautiful. How
Yes.
how thoughtful and inclusive. I love that.
Yeah. So anyway, there's more to tell, but I won't bore you. But I'll have it all on my Facebook. In high school, there were 2 bands, and those 2 guys are still playing, and they were incredible.
Incredible. Well, I'm glad that you had so much fun. You look very happy and you're glowing. So that's all good. And as you know, we have a special guest who is also part of our team. She is our expert travel correspondent. Her name is Sandy Adams. And I love when Sandy's here because it's so inspirational looking at these places that we can go, hearing about her experiences and how she helps her clients all across the world. So without further ado, let us welcome Sandy Adams to the program. Hi, Sandy.
Hi, Dr. JACALYN. Hi, Diane. How are you?
Great.
So happy to see you. And I'm loving that background.
Well, thanks. I'm all about Alaska today.
Oh, I love Alaska.
Look how beautiful that water is and that scenery. Oh, I could just dive in there. So, Sandy, for people who are joining us for the first time, we have new platforms where we're streaming. I'd love for you to give an overview about your background as a travel advisor, cruise planners, and how you exactly help your clients.
Absolutely. Well, I'm Sandy Adams, and I'm a travel advisor with cruise planners. I do land and sea vacations. My background is I'm a retired Air Force. I spent 28 years in the Air Force. So I did a lot of traveling throughout the world while I was in the Air Force. And so when I retired, I decided that I wanted to help people have amazing vacations, just like the kinds of vacations that I had always planned for myself. So I became a travel advisor. And the types of things I do for my clients is I help match them with the travel means that they want, via land or via sea. I have conversations with them, get to know them, and I help from the first conversation to booking the trip to keeping them informed of all the different things surrounding the locations that they're going to, what they can expect. I work with whichever travel partner we've booked travel through, and I take care of all the details for my clients. Shortly before they travel, I present them with a travel package that has all of their travel documents, some goodies, their travel insurance, and just review everything with them so that they're prepared for their trip. And my goal is that all my clients have to do is pack their bags and go.
I love that. Pack the bags and go.
I love that too. You know what, Sandy? Sometimes the hardest part for me before I even get anywhere is packing those bags. So that in and of itself is enough, right?
Well, and oftentimes I'm able to help my clients with that as well. Not actually doing the packing, but providing suggestions on what they need, for the location that they're going to. For instance, if they are traveling on a ship, some ships have formal nights, so I tell them, how many formal nights they need to plan for. If they're going to Alaska, I give them recommendations of what to wear. For instance, I always recommend you plan for layers, because when you're in Alaska, it can be 80 or it can be 40, and it could be 80 and 40 in the same 24 hours. So I try to prep my clients as best I can. And then the other thing that's really important about of what I do as a travel advisor is that when my clients are actually traveling, I'm available for them. So, if something doesn't go like it's supposed to, they can reach out directly to me. They're not on hold with the travel advisor trying to get it. I mean, not the travel advisor, but with the travel company trying to figure out, what's going on. That's what I do. And, because sometimes the best laid plans, they don't come together, as they're supposed to through, no fault of the traveler or the travel advisor, but my job is to iron all those things out. So I'm available for my clients throughout their journey, and when they return, I always talk with them, get their feedback, and of course find out where they want to go to next.
You do provide the highest level of service, Sandy. Before we actually start digging into the topic for today, I'd love for you to share with us, and Diane, I'd love to hear what you have to say too. Why do we typically bring so much stuff? Have you ever had that experience? You have all these bags, you get there, you wear the same 5 things over and over again. Like, I don't understand. Why do we do this to ourselves?
I think that we do it because we are away from home. When you're at home, you have all your stuff in your closet. So you might wear the same couple of things, but if you need something, it's right there in your closet. Well, when you travel, I think it's the same thing. And I have to fight with myself about that. Well, what happens if I need this? Or, hey, I might want to try this, during my trip, this new lotion or this new cream, and so I start dumping things in my toiletry bag that I don't use at home. And for some reason, I think all of a sudden I'm going to use it on my trip. and it's the same thing for clothes. You're like, well, I need an outfit for every day. And then I need an outfit for dinner. And then I always have to pull myself back and say, okay, Sandy, you're going to be, for instance, if I'm doing a cruise, I will want to do all these clothes. And then I realize I'm going to be at sea for 3 days. I'm going to wear my bathing suit and a shorts and a t-shirt over it. And you know what? I could probably wear the same shorts and t-shirt, that day. So I'm able to eliminate things from my bag. And then the other thing I've learned to do is to pick a color that I'm going to wear and just build my wardrobe around that so that I can mix and match. So if I'm going to do black, which is usually the easiest, I can have a black pair of pants, I can have a black skirt, I can have a black dress, and then I just have to, change out the accessories, maybe different tops, or a scarf or a jacket, and then you can wear the same things multiple times.
Yes, I totally agree with you. Diane, what are your thoughts? Are you a light packer, or do you take more than what you need?
Well, Sandy, you said it beautifully, because everything you said is exactly correct. Before, I used to pack way too much, and then they would say, okay, look at your luggage and take X amount of things out, right? And now I try to pack as light as I can, take only one suitcase, and leave plenty of room to purchase things.
That must be a pretty big suitcase, Diane.
It is.
Therein lies the
2
secret.
suitcases, probably.
I remember when I went to Hawaii a million years ago, the first time, and I remember laughing. I was with someone and looked we were Philadelphia International, and all of our luggage was there. We were waiting for U.S. Airways to come and get it. 11 bags for 2 weeks.
Oh my gosh.
That was a problem. That was definitely a problem.
That's a lot of extra
So,
money,
Sandy,
though.
let's move on and talk about where it is that is exciting to go. And you've been so closely on top of COVID regulations, also letting people know about keeping their passports up to date. What's the latest information you can share with our audience about traveling?
So the hot places this summer seem to be Europe and Alaska, either by land or by sea. Lots of people are calling, trying to make those short notice trips. That seems to be the thing right now to do. And, there's still lots of availability at both places. The key thing that, I want to make sure people are aware of is that, COVID is still out there. And because of that, different countries have different requirements. And those requirements are still in place, and they're still changing. So you have not only the various countries to consider in terms of their requirements, but also if you choose to cruise lines also have requirements. And so if you're not using a travel advisor, all of that research, you just need to do so that you're not disappointed when you show up and you don't have, the things that you need. Most European countries are requiring, at a minimum, being fully vaccinated. And many of the countries are also requiring that if your last vaccination was more than 270 days ago, that you need a booster. So again, doing that research is important. And if you're using a travel advisor, that's the person that's helping you to get through those things. The places in Europe that are hot right now are Ireland, the UK, Spain, Portugal, Italy, although Italy, has been, more restrictive, but it's open. All the countries in Europe are open, but again, I can't emphasize enough that it's important that you check out, what their COVID requirements are, be it vaccinations, be it tests, be it paperwork, because each country is doing different things. So that's really important to look at. As Dr. JACALYN said, I always like to remind people about their passports. The time to look at your passport is not when you're getting ready to travel. I encourage everyone on radio or who are watching us right now, as soon as the show is over, of course, to go pull out their passport and see when it expires. And if it expires in the next year, go ahead and start the process of getting it renewed. If you have children that haven't had a passport before, or you don't have a passport, again, now's the time to go ahead and submit for it. That way you're saving yourself. You actually save yourself some money because you're not having to expedite it, which costs here in the US an extra $60, I believe, per passport to expedite. And there might be some shipping costs as well. The other thing I want to remind people of who, may not be looking at domestic travel, international travel anytime soon, is that the Department of Homeland Security has extended the Real ID requirement to May the 3rd of 2023. And what that means is that you are required to have some form of Real ID to fly domestically or enter federal buildings and installations. So the easiest for most people is having that Real ID driver's license. But there are other documents that could be used for domestic travel. And that would be if you have a passport, if you're military, and you have a DOD ID card, and there are several other things that are available, and you can find that information just by Googling it or going to the Department of Homeland Security's website to get a list of, it's about 20 different items, which I'm not gonna read to everybody. But those
we love your reading, though, Sandy.
Yeah. So, reading is about reading your book. That's what reading's about.
Oh, very good.
Thank you. I like that.
You like how I snuck that in, because this is a big day for Dr. JACALYN.
Sure is.
My second book launch, which is really exciting. We're having a live book launch show at 3 p.m. Eastern time today, which is 2 p.m. Central Standard Time and 8 p.m. British Summer Time. So do join us for that. Sandy, congratulations to you, because today's a special day. It's Happy Travel Advisor Day. Yay!
Yay!
How are you celebrating this day?
I am booking people's travel.
There you go. That's what better way to do it.
Fantastic.
Unless you're traveling yourself.
I want you to know I'm finally going to be making that trip to London in November. So I'll be reaching out to you to make those plans happen.
Oh, that's awesome. That's very exciting.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm excited as well. Now, also, we're going to talk about a beautiful resort. And this is a number of properties, right? It's a collection underneath the name of Sandals.
That's correct.
Tell us
So,
more.
Absolutely. So originally, I was supposed to be at coming live to you from Sandals Royal Bahamian in Nassau, but a funny thing happened. COVID hit. And so we had to cancel our trip. And we'll talk a little bit more about all that later. But I wanted to take the time to still talk to you about Sandals, because I think that the Sandals and Beaches resorts are a great option for people who, just want to go to one place and really relax, either by the pool or by the beach or by doing water sports. And Sandals is located throughout the Caribbean. There's 3 properties in St. Lucia, 2 in the Bahamas. They're in Antigua, Grenada. They're in Barbados. They're in Jamaica, which is where they began. And their newest resort is in Curacao. So lots of options for Sandals. And Sandals is a couples only resorts. Beaches, which opened in 1997. Sandals itself is 40 years old, the company. They opened their first resort, which was Montego Bay, in 40 years ago. They opened Beaches, which is for families and for friends. They opened those because of the demand that they had from their guests, that they wanted to share the Sandals experience with their families and with their friends. And so in 97, they opened the first Beaches. They currently have 2 Beaches resorts. One is in Turks and Caicos, which is extremely popular, and the other one is in Jamaica. They are opening a new one in Jamaica, and they are also going to be opening one in St. Vincent and the Grenadines of Beaches. Additionally, Sandals is opening some new resorts in Jamaica, 3 new ones in Jamaica. And those will be opening over the next year or 2. Why do I love Sandals so much? It's because everything's included. They typically have anywhere from 5 to 12 restaurants in those locations where there are multiple Sandals. So for instance, in St. Lucia, there are 3 properties there. They have this program called Stay and Play, which means you can stay in one and you can play at the other resorts. So it gives you a lot more restaurant options, a lot more entertainment options, and all different kinds of room types, from your basic room to these beautiful rooms called rondelets, or the over the water bungalows that are just absolutely gorgeous and have so many inclusions, and you get a butler. And so, I mean, what could be better than that? And the butlers are actually trained through the same program as those that British butlers are trained through. I can't think of the name of the program off the top of my head. But the other things that Sandals includes are all the water sports. There's also golf. The greens fees are included. At some of the properties, there is a requirement for a caddy, but the rates for caddies are far less than what you would find at other golf courses. And so when I was in St. Lucia last year, it was right near the golf course, and there were several people heading off to the golf course every morning to go play golf, because it was free. There were no greens fees. They also have other sports like beach volleyball, basketball. There's entertainment every night. You have free Wi-Fi. They also include transfers. So you show up at the airport, you go to the Sandals Lounge, and you are transported to the resort for your amazing vacation. And so it really is great for honeymoons, for destination weddings, couple getaways. The Beaches resorts are just wonderful for families. Lots of things for the kids to do at those properties. It's a great place for reunions, for friends to go together. And they have a loyalty program. And so once you've gone to a beaches resorts, you have an opportunity to book again. And they offer specials for people who rebook while they're on property. So I really think it's just such a wonderful package, and it really gives you a wonderful way to explore the Caribbean. And that's why I'm so high on Sandals vacations, and I'm ready to book people's Sandals vacations right now.
Get your sandals on now. Do it.
Exactly. Get your sandals on now.
Very good.
I've actually been to Sandals Resort. I forget which one. It was a long time ago, and I had a great time. I loved how everything was right there.
Absolutely. All within walking distance. The beaches are nice. I'm a runner, and I was able to last year when I was at the Grand St. Lucian Resort. There were places for me to run, so I was able to, run around the property. And that's part of the reason why my suitcases are always really full, is because I always have to take my running gear everywhere I go. So,
I can relate.
So they have fitness centers. I didn't mention the spa. They have great spa as well. And, your travel advisor can help you with excursions. I can help you with excursions. I can take care of booking your spa appointments. So it's just kind of one-stop shop when you book a Sandals vacation through me.
We need to go there now. This minute. We're cutting the show short. We have to go.
So I have a quick question.
Yes, ma'am.
It's kind of out there, but you know how couples aren't exactly the same? So example, I might go shopping, but my husband I need to drop off at the library or a museum or something. So is that, or places like that in the excursions? Is that what you mean?
Absolutely. Yes. So they have cultural, just trying to think the right words, cultural types of excursions, as well as active excursions, boating excursions. One of the things that's really popular are, going on sunset cruises. And there are also, opportunities to, get out and, visit the local economy as well.
Great. Thank you so much.
Yeah, that's really nice. We are going to go to a quick break, and we're going to watch a clip from someone we know and love. And then also I want to play a clip for a new movie that's already out in the UK, and it'll be here in 2 weeks. So I'm pretty excited about that. Diane,
awesome.
You know which one it is. So let's take a look at these clips, and then we'll be right back with more from Sandy.
Kapayapaan, kapayapaan, kapayapaan.
Diann Floyd BOEHM's A Song of Peace tells the story of a young lad named Tommy whose fervent wish for peace on earth touches the hearts of his friends and family, spreads to his community, and eventually unites the whole world around making his dream of peace a reality for everyone. Sit down with the children in your life and share Tommy's amazing story of love and hope. Sing your own song of peace and invite the children to join you. Tommy's tale is more than just a story. It's a movement, and everyone's warmly welcome to take part.
Kapayapaan, 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 kapayapaan.
You'll find A Song of Peace, along with many other wonderful learning and enriching opportunities for children of all ages, at DiannFloydBOEHM.com.
Absolutely. I always recommend travel protection to my clients when they book a trip. And I do that because, well, life happens. And, we were planning a big trip. We make an investment in a trip. And sometimes we're making that investment a year or a year and a half out. And we just don't know what the circumstances are going to be when those things happen, when you're making those trips. And so I'll give two real world examples that happened to me. So several years ago, and this was before I was a travel advisor, but we had purchased travel insurance for our trip for our 25th anniversary. And we were in Europe, and we were supposed to be boarding a ship the next day for a cruise. We had gone over a few days ahead of time, and we were boarding the next day. Anyway, we got a phone call from our son, and he'd been on the transplant list. And he called to say, it looks like they have, I'll be getting my transplant. And so it was already nighttime in Europe. So we waited till the next morning, and we called again, spoke to Eric's mom, and she said that they had just taken him in for surgery. So we had to cancel our trip. So we notified the insurance company to start with, and they told us what we needed to do. So we contacted Royal Caribbean, and we canceled our trip. Then we had to get plane tickets to fly home. Well, we had to pay an extra $1,500 per person to be able to fly home that day, which we did, and we flew home. And we were with our son the next day. He's doing fine, but clearly we missed out on a good portion of our trip. But we had travel insurance, so we spoke with Allianz again, and they told us the paperwork that we needed, and we submitted that with our receipts for the additional outlay of costs that we had. And in about 3 weeks' time, after we had submitted everything, we had our check back for $8,000 for our trip. So that's one reason right there. Second reason is this trip that we were supposed to be on right now. Again, we had travel insurance for it, and you take you never know with COVID, when you're going to come down with it, and that happened the day before we were supposed to leave. And so we notified the insurance company, canceled our trip. And so we're, filing for reimbursement for that. I have a client who had booked a trip about a year ago, and she fell a week or so ago and broke her arm, and she uses a walker. So she's not going to be able to, leave for her trip next week. They had travel insurance. And so these are just some of the reasons to consider travel insurance. Another one, although I did not have clients that experienced this, I did, read a lot of posts about other travel advisors that had issues. About a month and a half ago, there was a really bad storm in southern Florida, and basically there was no planes flying in, and there were many people who were flying into Florida to get on cruise ships. Well, many of those people didn't make it. And those that didn't make it, if they didn't have travel insurance, then they end up losing their money. So it's something that you should consider because it's an investment. You want to have, both the financial protection as well as the medical protection, particularly when you're overseas, because many of our, Medicare typically doesn't pay for medical care overseas. Some people have supplementals that may provide for healthcare while overseas. But those are the things you have to look at. If you have the medical coverage, if something happens, you're overseas, it doesn't matter if you're young or you're old, you're out hiking and you slip and you break your leg. There's a cost associated with that, and you need to have coverage. And so that's why I encourage people to make sure that they have travel protection for their travel investment, because it gives them peace of mind. They don't have to worry about it. I got an email from my client today who said, thank you so much. We're so glad we had insurance, and now we're, ready to prepare for our next trip that we're going to be taking in August. So that's why I really I encourage it, and it's just something to keep in mind for health reasons, because of transportation, especially these days. The airlines are still having a bunch of cancellations, and if you miss the ship, you miss the ship.
That's
Wow,
true.
Sandy, so many great points that you just brought up. I hadn't even thought about with the medical insurance. I never even considered that. But also, thanks for sharing your personal stories with us. That's really touching, and it just makes you think these are things you don't expect to happen, and then the call comes, and what are you supposed to do? You already have a trip planned. So
Yeah, thank you. I had to use our insurance once too, and like you said, things happen that you don't expect. That's life, right? And if you're not, if you aren't covered, that's a lot of money to lose.
Exactly right. Exactly right.
So, Sandy, something I'd like to just clarify, and you did touch on this. During the pandemic, I've been reading that if you booked flights and you got COVID or you had to stay with someone who did, you could cancel. And I don't know what the exact terms were, but there was some way you could get some kind of reimbursement. How is it now if you cancel? It's the flight's just lost unless you have insurance.
A lot of the U.S. airlines are allowing you to cancel without any change fees. And so basically, we just have a ticket that we have to use. For this trip that we just canceled, we have, basically a ticket to use in the next year that we can apply it to another travel. And then we would just have to pay the difference, or they give it back to you as a credit. So that's what a lot of the U.S. airlines are doing for domestic travel. And I just saw that United in the last couple of weeks just changed one of their rules for the better. Now, if you have a basic economy seat, I believe you are now able to cancel without penalty, whereas there had been penalties previously. So I think that the airlines have come to realize that, their flexibility is what's going to encourage people to go ahead and make those plans and book those flights, because, there's less risk associated with that.
Great information. What else did you want to cover during our show today, Sandy?
I really also just wanted to, tick off just a couple of other places that people can consider traveling. I know that I focused, I didn't really spend a lot of time talking about Alaska, so I want to talk about that. There are so many opportunities and different ways to visit Alaska. You can do it on land. We have some clients that are booked to do a trip to Alaska because they are big into bears. So we book them a bear trip. So they'll have two of the main excursions on their trip will be in search of bears. Then there are cruises, and there's different types of cruises that you can take. So you can see it via land. You can also see Alaska via rail. There are all kinds of trips with that. And if you want to combine all three, most of the cruise lines also do what are called cruise tours, which are a land portion and then a cruise portion. And you can do it either way. You can do the cruise portion first and then do the land portion once you get to Alaska, and spend anywhere from 3 days to 12 days exploring Alaska. Or you can do it in reverse and fly to Alaska to start and do the land portion, again, anywhere from 3 to 12 days, depending on which cruise line and which package that you go with. And then when you're done with that, then you take a relaxing cruise and you stop at other locations in Alaska and make a stop in Canada before either ending your cruise in Vancouver or in the Seattle area. So it is an amazing state. We visited there in 2019. And I'm really looking forward to going back next year. I'm going to do another cruise to Alaska because there's just so much to see, so much to do. We did a couple of train rides because we enjoy that. We went to a salmon bake, and I don't think I've eaten that much salmon in my life, but it was so delicious. And because, I mean, it was really fresh and it was so good. It was amazing seeing the eagles everywhere. It was almost a bit spooky because here when we see eagles, you just see one or two. And so it's really unique. There's a lot of eagles. And so they're everywhere. And so it's just lovely. And some of the cruise lines do have their own lodges. You have an opportunity to go into Denali, which is a big draw for people. And there's Anchorage and there's Fairbanks, and there's just so much to explore in Alaska. You really can't do it all in one trip. I think one trip just gives you a taste for it, and then you have to go back and explore it different ways. So Alaska's really big. The other thing, again, domestically, our national parks. And again, there's several different ways to see national parks. You can take the train, the Rocky Mountaineer, that goes from Denver to Moab, and then do a land tour from there. That's a trip that we did last year, and I talked about it on the show. And we just thought that was so amazing because when you take a train, you get to see things that you wouldn't get to see if you were driving down a highway. And so it just gives you a different experience. There are escorted tours that you can take through the national parks as well. And then Amtrak also does trips through the national parks. And I can book for people trips on Amtrak with all kinds of stops along the way. So there's lots of things in the U.S. to explore. The Grand Canyon is wonderful. The other thing that is starting to become quite popular here in the U.S. is actually river cruising. And we have some incredible rivers to cruise on and lakes. So the Snake River out west is quite popular. The Mississippi is popular. The Great Lakes, there are several cruise lines that do cruises up there. Even Viking, which everyone has heard of Viking, and they made their mark in European river cruises. They are now in the U.S. and they are doing the Mississippi, and I think that they're also looking at eventually doing the Great Lakes as well. So there are so many ways to discover our own, to discover the U.S. And a travel advisor, I can help you with that. I enjoy doing it, and it's all about the experience. And I want my clients to just have fabulous experiences throughout their travels.
I love that. So many different options. And I also think that it's so important to remind our viewers and listeners that you have gone to these places and you understand what the experience is like. So you can give that hands-on personal attention to each and every client.
Absolutely.
Fantastic. Diane, what would you like to add before we close out?
Sandy, I know you know this. So you're absolutely right. Alaska, you cannot just see it one time. I need to go back. But you can also rent a helicopter, and he'll take you way up high, and you can see some of the ice caves, and that's pretty cool too.
Oh yeah.
So
That is
I figured
cool,
you booked people for that as well. Well, I thought it was awesome.
By the way, I have to share that we do have some beautiful photographs that the producer didn't bring up until now. So let's take a look at this. What are we looking at here, Sandy?
Oh, so this is the newly renovated Sandals Royal Bahamian, and it is a fabulous resort. Unfortunately, I didn't get the tour this time, but I am doing a cruise, and we're going to be stopping in Nassau in the fall, and I plan on going to visit this resort. It's just absolutely gorgeous, completely renovated. I showed pictures to a friend of mine who had had her wedding there and gone there for her honeymoon, and she didn't recognize the place. They've completely redone it, and all the feedback that I've been reading this week from my fellow CPers that are there they're just raving about it. So great place to go, and I love the opportunity to book your listeners and those watching on a fabulous Sandals vacation.
Oh, look at that.
Wow.
Gorgeous.
So yeah, it's just wonderful.
So wait no longer. Let's start dialing. What is the number again, Sandy? I'm putting it back up.
It's 571-297-7676.
571-297-7676. A very nice number. Okay. Thank you again for being here, and thanks for being our expert travel correspondent here at USA Global TV and Radio.
Well, I look forward to visiting with you guys soon, and congratulations on your book launch, Dr. JACALYN and Diane. Congratulations on the continued success with your books.
Thank you so much. You're so thoughtful.
Thank you, Sandy. Congratulations to you as well.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye. I love when she's around. It's just so inspiring, and look at beautiful places and someone who knows what they're talking about and knows the regulations, knows what it is we have to keep in mind when we're booking our travel.
She's incredible. And yes, you just want to pack your bags right away, but not too much in those bags.
That's right. You know, one thing I learned, and I've shared this before, when I was in my corporate role and I traveled quite frequently for the programs that we were operating for our clients that had national sales meetings or drug launches or whatever it was. My senior vice president was at the airport, and she got there before me. She was waiting for me. And when she saw my bag, she said, it's not acceptable. This is not going to keep happening. So she actually taught me how to pack. And basically my recollection of it was that you pick a color, supposedly, black or brown or blue or pink, whatever it is, and then everything coordinates with that. So instead of bringing one blue dress and one black pantsuit, everything goes together in somehow. And in that example, you could take the black jacket and put it with the blue dress, but there's some kind of underlying theme so that you don't have to bring as many things. And then also you roll the clothes. So they don't get
I haven't got into that rolling. I tried it, but
you're roll free. I like it.
I do the old-fashioned folding thing. So, but I certainly do the coordinating, absolutely. And if I'm going places where nice slacks are appropriate, then it's all about changing the blouses out.
Yes.
And then, having that little black dress, as they say, and changing the accessories.
That black dress, I know all about it.
Yeah. And like Sandy said, scarves. Scarves can change everything. And I've done a whole show on that one.
Oh, for sure. And something that I want to add that I've learned as I've gotten older, and when I say learned, it was probably not that long ago. I'm going to share if I can reach over. I would always pack these amazing shoes, and you can only wear them once, and then you might have to be in a hospital. But here's an example of a pair of shoes that I would take on a trip. Like, really? Are you kidding me? It doesn't make any sense whatsoever. So now if I were going somewhere, it would be sneakers and flat shoes. That would be it.
Absolutely. But I do admire shoes, that's for sure. And I was with a friend up in Dallas, and we went to Neiman Marcus, and we were looking at the shoes. And I tell you, there was this shoe that had that, what made me think of it was your shoe that you just shared with us, that massive, beautifully slender heel. I mean, it's a work of art. But on the heel part, the top part, it was a butterfly. It was three-dimensional. It was it was incredible. And I was just like, I would never wear those. I would have to make a spotlight and have it as showcase.
Well, that's what I have in New Jersey. I have several pairs of my shoes, just one shoe positioned under a certain light, and I don't wear them because they really are works of art. I have been to that Neiman Marcus in Dallas when I was on a program that we sold there for my corporate crew many, many years ago. And some of the shoes are just exceptional, the workmanship. And you know, from having your friend here on the show, that what is her name? I forget. She makes beautiful shoes.
Machine.
Nosheen, yes, that they are collector's items. And some of the shoes that I have, as we digress, but we are on the fashion show as well, fashion channel, is some of the shoes I have are only for sitting. So in other words, before you get to where you're going, you're wearing a different pair of shoes, and then you're just sitting. You're not going anywhere.
Right.
So.
Right, exactly. But to take it back to Sandy and fashion as well, is she mentioned on cruises, formals, and so forth. And I love to go on cruises where there is formal night and everyone dresses up. And so you want to have those special shoes. But if there's dancing that goes along with it, then my bag, I make sure it's big enough to carry my dancing shoes. Otherwise, I'm barefooted.
You just made me think of something really funny. My mom and I went on an Alaskan cruise, and it was from a program that I earned from my work, Achievers Club or President's Club or something. And I remember this particular ship had a dance floor up at the top. I don't know if they all do or not, but it was very bad weather. So the ship was going from side to side, and they were actually passing out bags for people to use if they got sick. So my mom and I were really brave. We thought we're going to go dancing, and it was enclosed. And I remember I had on these Chanel sneakers, and they had on this big white heel and then Chanel. And my mom had her sneakers on, and we were dancing by ourselves, Diane. The ship is going back and forth, back and forth. And we were just dancing. I was going crazy with the dancing. And all of a sudden people started to join us, but I was only able to do that because of my footwear. It really makes a difference, especially as we get older and we're not interested in possibly breaking an ankle or a toe or something else. And we do have a comment from Christine in Vienna. She writes, flat shoes are fabulous. Our toes will thank us. Yes. Does anyone else have this issue? And I'm not saying that I have it, but all of a sudden your toes are like this, and now they're like this. They start to go this way, like they have wings and they're going to fly away. Do you know what I'm talking about, Diane? No,
I do, but I think it's a matter of your shoes. If your shoes are that square shape, then your feet become, and then if they're that pointed shape, my mom, her feet, and I noticed pointed shoes are coming back, and I'm like, yeah, that's not going to happen with me. I want that roundness for every little, even my little, what do they call it? The piggy. Piggy can have room to move too. So, yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you. I'm just going to show just a couple of, this would be great to wear with this outfit that I have on today.
Oh, that's beautiful.
But instead I'm wearing black running shoes. Mm-hmm. And also this, like when you talk about how it comes together, and that's what I'm saying, your toes start to get shaped like that.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So it's not happening to me, mind you, but I'm sure it's happening to others out there.
I'm sure the foot doctor loves it too.
Oh yes, that's
no,
for sure.
That was tagging of me. I'm sorry. Sorry, foot
No.
doctor.
I haven't been to a podiatrist recently, but I had been there when I got. I forget what you get from running too much, plantar fasciitis. They have to stick this big needle. That's another show. Anyway, on a future fashion show, I want to talk about eyewear and how you can use eyewear to really cover up almost anything on your face that's in this area. You can change your whole image. You can really stand out.
I told you look very studious today.
Well, I can't see because these are for distance and they're not for reading. But I'm doing the best I can, but thank you.
I am so grateful that eyewear has become fashionable, because when you were still a baby probably, but when I was growing up, people were mean to people who had to wear glasses and called them names and so forth. The bullying was really pretty bad. And now just the opposite's happened. I remember my youngest daughter's like, I want to wear glasses, Mommy, so I can look smart. And I'm like, you don't need glasses. You don't wear glasses. Just wear, okay, well, can we just put fake class lens in so I can look fashionable.
Some people do, though. I know people
And
who,
they did do
yeah, they
that.
don't need glasses. It's
Yeah.
it's
She
it's
was
very
ahead of her
interesting.
time.
She was ahead of her time. Yes, that's for sure. And you just reminded me of something, and then we'll say goodbye to our audience. But we have an upcoming jewelry line that we are putting together with Margie Cedrone. And one of the pieces, I have it on today, it'll be available with your name on it. It is this cuff. Can you see it? And it's really well made. I don't know what the materials are, I forget. And then my name is on there in diamonds, but so your name would be on there in diamonds as well. So that's one of the pieces that will be available coming soon.
Dr. Jacqueline, you amaze me. When you get like shut eye, okay, I'm awake for the rest of the day.
I usually sleep really well. Last night I did not sleep while worrying about this book launch. And of course, you worry about things and it doesn't matter anyway. So no more worrying. Go on vacation. Go to Sandals. Call Sandy Adams. Okay.
That's right. And everyone come be part of the book launch today, 3 p.m. Eastern time, right?
Yes, Eastern time. So we will be joined by many of the authors. I think out of the 12 of us, I think 9 of us will actually be there, along with my book coach, Red O'Loughlin, whom you've introduced me to. And he and I are very close now, which is fabulous. And we're going to be starting work on our 3rd book, which DIANN will be involved with. My third book is part of a series that we're going to do for children. And I am collaborating with Mariska Dupree. She's another team member here. And people have the opportunity to apply to be an animal character in the book. And in the book, we will be teaching children how to listen, because I know I was never taught how to listen through any of my education. I think it's really important.
It is, and it's very clever, and we don't want to give too much away.
No, we don't.
But I'm very glad to be part of it. But today is awesome, and it's been wonderful to watch you release your first book, now your second book, and the third is in the making, and you're dynamite.
Oh, thank you, Diane. You inspire me all the time. And you have a new book coming out, at least one. Tell us about that.
Well, the date hasn't been set yet, but we are now able to say the name, and through OC Publishing, it's going to be Charlie and the Tire Swing, and I'm very excited about it. I've been waiting for Charlie to be published for a couple of years, actually maybe 5 years. So yay, it's happening.
Yay! That is very exciting. Congratulations.
Thank you.
There is something about a tire swing. I know when I go for a walk, a couple of the homes, they have a tire swing, and I want to just jump over there. I love swings. And at some point, and I know the reason behind it, anywhere there were swings, there's now a sign that you have to be 12 or under. But adults love going in playgrounds and swinging, but we're not allowed to do that anymore.
Yeah, if I see one and it doesn't have an age on it, I hop on it, because there's something about the freedom of a swing,
You feel something in your stomach. I don't know if it's butterflies or whatever it is, but you just feel lighter.
I think your soul is so happy.
I do too. Well, I'm so glad that you are doing everything that you're doing. And I don't actually know how you have time to do all of it and go to a reunion and go here. It's your time management skills have to be the absolute best.
I wish that was true, but I try.
It has to be.
I try. There's, we don't know how long we're going to be on the planet, and there's so much I want to accomplish, and so it's just like I'm not going to sleep it off. I want to make the most of it every day.
Good for you. Well, you're doing it, and you're inspiring all of us. So thank you, Diane.
You're welcome. Well, you have a great day, and I'll be watching at 2:00 my time, 3:00 your time for your book launch.
Fantastic. Thank you. And I'll see you tomorrow for the corner bookstore.
Yes.
All right.
Talk to you later.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye, everybody.
Bye. Thank you, everyone. I just want to share a couple of other things. The first is, if you're interested in taking your listening skills to the next level, The answer is here. Look no further. You can become an elevated listener here on USA Global TV and radio. What does that look like? You take a course, which is just under 3 hours, and then you get a 7-question quiz. When you get 100% correct on the quiz, you actually become certified. You receive a certificate and you get featured on my other website, drjacalyn.com. We have your picture, we have your certificate, and we let everyone know that you actually have taken the time to learn how to listen, and you give people a safe place to share their story. So our next course offering is May the 10th at 11 a.m. Eastern Time, which is 4 p.m. British Summer Time or 5 p.m. Central European Time. You can sign up over on Eventbrite or on my website, drjacalyn.com. Let's take a look at a clip about the power of listening, and then we will be returning later on today for the business show. Thank you so much for being here. Located at 121 Haddon Avenue in Westmont, New Jersey, is Margie Cedrone, artisan jeweler. Margie's been in business for more than 30 years. She works with her clients to create custom pieces of jewelry to reflect their personality and help them make their own bold statement. Starting in the renowned Jewelers Row in Center City, Philadelphia in 1988, Margie works directly with her clients to develop one-of-a-kind pieces such as necklaces, engagement rings, wedding bands, unique watches and tennis bracelets, as well as a myriad of rings and earrings for everyone in your family. She also has worked directly with Dr. JACALYN over the years, creating unique pieces of jewelry to reflect her personality. She does pearl stringing and repairs on site at 121 Haddon Avenue. Call or text Margie at 215-384-7155. Margie Cedrone Jewelry is open by appointment only. Make your own bold statement.